Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I have the Jet and the good old Fender, made in Mexico, to compare side to side. So this is the Jet JS 400. I always have a problem remembering all these names of these different guitars. JS 400. And this is the good old tried and true Fender Player Series 1, not the new one. The Player Series 1 Stratocaster. So both are Strat guitars, right? This is a true Strat, an American. A true Fender Strat, and this is a Strat style guitar from Jet. Now, let's talk about both guitars first, as I always do, and then we'll get into the sound on these things. Let me see if I can lower this so that we don't have that hiss. Okay, so first off, the Jet, the JS 400, is made in China. This guitar, the Fender Player Series, is obviously made in Mexico. So those are two distinctly different things. The body on the Jet is basswood or basswood, depending upon how you pronounce it. The body on that Fender is alder. The fretboard is a roasted maple fretboard. Nicely roasted maple fretboard on the Jet. You just have a standard maple semi-gloss fretboard on the Fender Player. Both have a modern C-neck. Both have a 9.5-inch radius. Both have 22 medium jumbo frets. What else? Let me see here. The nut. 1.65 inches on both. The nut on the Jet, however, is a bone nut. The nut on the Fender, interestingly enough, is a plastic nut. Both have 2-point tremolos on the guitar. The Jet has ceramic pickups in an HSS configuration. So there's a humbucker in the bridge and 2 singles. This particular Strat, the Fender Strat Player, has 3 single coils. So it's the traditional configuration of the Strat. The other differences between these two is that this guitar, the Jet, has 1 volume and 1 tone and a 5-way switch. The Fender has the traditional 1 volume and 2 tones and the 5-way switch. Tuners are sealed on both guitars, meaning they look something like that, right? The standard seal tuners. Okay, let me get this back here. Let me get this over here and show you first. I don't think you can see it, but the trem block on this guitar is a thicker than the normal super thin trem blocks on these import guitars. It's got a fairly decent sized trem block, which is impressive. This Fender here, and again I don't know if you can see it or not, but has a standard size trem block. So the trem block on the Jet is a little bit bigger than the trem block on the Fender, which is interesting. And then the final difference is that here you have your input jack, your conventional spot for your input jack on the front of the guitar. On this Jet, it is down there, okay? And some people prefer that. So, I'm going to plug it in. Now, the price. This guy goes for around between $230, $250 new, typically. Right? Sometimes it's a little bit more. I got it for $200 new at Sam Ash, which is a great price, $199 brand new at Sam Ash. This guy, on the other hand, goes for about $699, right? $609 on sale, which they're currently running, I believe, at Musician's Friend. So there is a distinct difference in price of $350 or so between these two guitars. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to play these with distortion because I just want to compare the pickup sound. And with distortion, it's kind of useless because it muffles the sound and you don't hear the true sound of the pickups. So I'm just going to play clean, both guitars. And typically, you're not going to be using these as shredding machines anyway, Strats. You're going to be using them for classic rock, blues, jazz, funk, whatever the case is. Right? So you're not really going to be doing heavy distortion, I don't think, on these guitars. I'm just going to leave it like this so you can see the guitar. Okay? I'm going to play it in the neck pickup position on the Jet. And now both pickups on the Jet, which is the neck and the middle pickup. Just the middle pickup. Now this is kind of going to be unfair because the configuration is different, but this is now the middle and the bridge being a humbucker. And now the volume increased because we're going to just the humbucker. Okay, so that's the Jet. Now we're going to give the Fender player the same run through. Okay, neck pickup on this guitar. Neck in the middle. Just the middle pickup. The middle pickup and the bridge, both singles. And finally, just the bridge pickup, bridge being a single coil. Okay, take the plug out. So, I know it's going to be difficult, I'll adjust the camera here, for you to hear what I'm hearing because of this poor sound system that I have set up. But in the space that I'm in right now, there's clearly, I'm going to just put this a little lower so you can see the guitars. There's clearly a difference between the Jet and the Fender. The Fender has Alnico pickups, which tend to be more vintagey sounding, right? They're lower output. They have more of a glassy sound. They have a little bit of a warmer sound in some positions than the Jet. And they have a distinctly different sound. This sounds more like a Strat, in my opinion, than this guy does. However, These pickups, these ceramic pickups, sound better than they should. Again, in my opinion. In some cases, there's even more clarity on some positions with this guitar, with the Jet, than with the Fender. And certainly with the distortion engaged, because of the humbucker, it sounds a world, there's a world of difference in the sound, fullness and thickness between this guy and this guy. So this configuration is kind of unfair because it's a more versatile guitar with the humbucker in the bridge than the 3 single coil Fender configuration, the player. But that's all I have, so I don't have much of a choice. But I was pretty impressed when I compared the two because, again, these ceramic pickups, in my opinion, sound better than they really have a right to. They're not bad. However, in all fairness and full disclosure, if you're looking for a true Strat sound, you're going to go with the Fender Player Series versus the Jet. Now, in terms of other things, build quality, Fender's a little bit better build, in my opinion, a little bit more solid feeling than the Jet, but not a world of difference. Not $400 worth of better, in my opinion. The bridge is made a little bit better on the Fender. This has more of a pot metal feel, to be quite honest, on the Jet than it does on the Fender. But those are things that can be swapped out if you so desire. I don't know a reason to. The fret wire on the Jet is actually nicer, in my opinion, fuller and better fret wire than on the Fender, which is shocking. The tuners. Fender, much better tuners. Standard tuners on the Fender are much better than the Jet. The Jet's weak point, in my opinion, are those tuners. Neck feel. This guy, they both have 9.5-inch radiuses. However, I honestly like the feel of the neck on this player better than I do on the Jet. That's just personal preference. Now, in terms of finishing, I like the finishing better on the Jet than I do on the Fender because of that roasted maple. I just think it looks sharp, and it just adds richness to the guitar. Trying to think what else. Tuning stability, again, better on this because the tuners are better than the Jet. The Jet seems to go out of tune a lot easier and a lot faster. Harder to keep in tune than this Fender. But again, you can change out those tuners and put in locking tuners for very low cost. It's a very low cost upgrade. But other than that, I mean, I'm going to give the edge to the Fender because it's a Fender, right? It's a proper headstock. You got that Fender logo on there. If that stuff doesn't matter to you, for almost $400 savings, it's a no-brainer. I would go with this Jet every day of the week than I would the Fender Player. However, if you do play out and you have people in your band that are snobs or whatever, or you just want to maintain that look on stage with a true Fender, you're going to go with the Fender, with the Player guitar. But they're a lot closer than I thought, to be honest with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think in terms of the pluses and minuses, or the benefits, or the sound, more importantly, of the Jet versus the Player. Which do you think sounded better? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? Do you have your own feelings about it? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Do you like these videos? If you do, please subscribe and give me a like. That always helps. And as always, until the next time, guys, be well. See you soon. Rock on, guys. Take care. Bye.